and as a business owner, it's a privilege. A lot of business owners don't know that they own abatement companies.
90% of the inspectors don't see 80% of the abatement contractors' staff.
What are the highlights or great experiences that you've experienced with Quality Environmental and also with my dad, Gus? So you've known him for a long time.
Well, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And the pretty too.
Wow.
And when the consultant drills down, he or she has to go through all layers until they get to the mastic.
Every layer.
To the wooden floor.
Right.
Every layer might be tested.
And every layer has to be tested. You'd be surprised. 2 layers may be positive, 1 layer may be positive, but if it's in the middle, you got to remove it all.
Yeah, all it's got to go.
Remember, mastic and linoleum or mastic and floor tile, you have to double it up. If you have 300 square feet of mastic, you have 300 square feet of flooring, you have 600 square feet.
Let's say 50 because it's less than 100 square feet. So AQMD regulates.
Well, remember, the 100 square feet is per address per year. Mm-hmm. So you can go to that address this year and remove 70 square feet. If you go back this year and remove 50, now you got to notify us.
Right.
That's greater than 100 square feet now.
But you just mentioned the floor tile mastic. So if you have 50 square feet of mastic that is detected and it's hot, the tile has the mastic attached.
Right, you got to remove both, so therefore you got to.
We already 100 square feet.
Where's the notification?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, fail to notify, you're looking at about $20,000 fine.
Yes.
Fail to notify for a $300 to $500 notification, you're looking at close to $20,000 in fines.
Yeah.
I think that should be incentive enough to make sure you notify.
Oh, for sure.
You know, and remember, you're notifying AQMD. When you notify AQMD, you're notifying EPA.
Yeah.
And then, of course, you send Cal OSHA notifications separately.
Yeah.
Yes. You have to be in compliance with both.
Yeah. I wanted to ask great experiences that you've experienced with Quality Environmental and also with my dad, Gus. So you've known him for a long time.
Well, the good, the bad, and the ugly.
And the pretty too.
From my recent memorization of your company.
Keep in mind, Mike, I used to have hair.
I've never really had a problem with your company. You know, I mean, I'm not sure if I've ever issued an NTC to you guys. Maybe I have for records. But for the most part, I have never issued your company a violation notice. So I would say the times that I've inspected your company, if you weren't in compliance before I got there, when I got there, you were in compliance, and we ended it that way. Okay. So, no stressful. I mean, I could name off a few other abatement companies where, it's been drama. But for you guys, no, I've never really had a problem. You've always cooperated. You always, greeted me professionally. Right. Your men on site. I've never really had an issue. I've not seen you guys a lot, but I think you were at Long Beach Airport, I believe, recently. I want to say, or one of those sites in Long Beach. I believe I ran into you. But otherwise than that, never really had a lot of drama with your company.
Oh, that's good. That's good to hear.
And that's one of the things for our Quality Environmental business culture, always to do the right thing. And, integrity shows when nobody's watching.
Right.
So that's why we always put that in the meetings with our guys. Make sure you keep everything by the book. That's what we get paid for. We had to follow regulations. Yeah. We never break any rules. And that goes long ways. I mean, I've been doing it for 35 years. Right. We started, and you remember, Sam, out of my garage back in 2005. We were only 5 of us. Godoy, Norman, and my dad, my sister, and I. We started, and now, we're very blessed to have over 100 people working in the field. Yeah. They're all certified with the proper training. And I feel proud, because I'm one of them. And as a business owner, it's a privilege. Right. To be able to know what we do, it's very important. A lot of business owners don't know that they own abatement companies. I've been in some abatement companies before Quality, and they're certified, but they don't have the hands-on, practice in the field.
Right. I think one of the things here is that you've been there and done that, and you were in the field once upon a time, and I think that you took it upon yourself to make sure that with your company, your employees are properly trained and make sure that they know everything they need to know regarding the rules and regulations.
Yeah, and also when Mr. Haynes and the rest of the inspector shows up, we always show our work, our skills,
Right.
And one thing that Mike mentioned is paperwork, all the permits and line, and I think we're one of them that we always keep all that negative errors and certify. It's really important, not just to have the notification, but also HEPA vacuums and bee blasters and all that kind of stuff. But that goes along.
And then piggyback on that, each project is a little different. It may be surrounded by different high-profile projects or complainants. You just never know. So making sure your employees, especially the ones that are representing your organization.
Right.
Remember, 90% of the inspectors don't see 80% of the abatement contractor staff. We see less than 10%. That means we see your workers, we see your supervisor, and every now and then we will see a project manager. So the people that we see that represent your company are the ones that we see at the site, and those are your foremen and your workers.
Yeah.
And if you cannot train everybody, you must train them on not only the rule, but also how to handle an asbestos compliance inspection.
Yeah.
Because shock and awe, we're regulatory, we're a federal agency, so we're not IRS, but we
in a way
we,
for
we
us,
are,
yes.
we're
In our industry,
one of the
yes.
most assertive agencies out there. You do see us.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, you don't have to say, well, I remember the last time I saw OSHA outside. You cannot say that about AQMD.
Right.
We are out there. We're out there every day, including the weekends. So, I will grant the fact that you guys, as I said, have always been in compliance when I've showed up for sure.
Yeah,
That's
thank you for
good.
that.
Thank you.
Yeah,
And we look forward.
Keep up the good work.
And I wanted to also mention when are the upcoming Rule 1403 classes that you had mentioned to me earlier?
Right.
There's going to be, you said 3 of them, right?
Yeah, we have one coming up on August the 14th. The deadline to register for that is next week, July the 17th, so it's theoretically a month ahead of time. So if you know anyone or you think anyone, they need to sign up and come. The next one is, so it's every other month. So the next one we have we got one in October. Then for this year, the last one is going to be in December. Okay, so those are the 3. If they need specific dates for the one in October, I want to say it's the 14th or the 15th, and the one in December is roughly around the second week in December.
And they're no longer on Zoom, right? You mentioned they're no longer Zoom.
No longer Zoom, so you're going to be in person, and that means we're going to turn the heat up on you inside the class. That means you will be asked questions. Whether or not you raise your hand or not, we're going to point you and say, hey, could you answer this question? That's part of getting your certificate.
Right.
Now, historically, we actually had an examination at the end, but normally we would tweak it so that it's open book.
Okay.
So if you do attend the class, take good notes, ask as many questions as you possibly can, but those are the upcoming dates.
And this is highly recommended, Mike, for all
right
trades.
Now, the 1403 implies for abatement companies and demo contractors, you should be taking the class yearly. It implies that, but my agency has not enforced that on you. The way we do it is we issue the NTC and then tell you to attend the class.
Right.
But if we're asking you to attend the class, we're asking you to attend the class for a reason. That means we saw something that did not emphasize a notice of violation, but we're saying to you, let's get this corrected.
Yeah.
And the best way to get it corrected is to send them to the class.
Right. Gain more knowledge.
Yeah. And 90% of the time when you send someone to the class, they come out with a whole new disposition about the rules. And remember, we're doing both 40 CFR, so whether or not AQMD chases you, EPA can.
Right.
Correct.
Yeah.
And every contractor should attend this class,
Yeah,
not just an abatement and
not
demo.
just I'm just saying abatement because abatement contractors are monitoring and removing the asbestos, the hazardous materials. But everyone involved in the project, from the property owner to the asbestos consultant that clears the site, should attend the 1403 class.
Not just
Got it.
abatement contractors.
No. Abatement contractors are probably more trained than any of them out there, including
Yeah.
the consultants,
Yeah.
on day-to-day activities and operations of sites. Consultants, of course, they have their niche in sampling.
Yeah.
They're the only ones that can sample.
Yep.
Okay, now
Yeah.
people have told me, yeah, the contractor sampled, and I'm like, for what? Nobody's going to accept their report.
Nope.
Now,
Right.
can they can, but now you're disturbing potentially ACM. So what if your consulting firm or your contractor in this case doesn't get the job? Now you're walking around with a document that could libel that particular owner. So if you're ever in a situation like that and the contractor says, yes, I sampled, get a copy of that report and then give that contractor direction on what they need to do with that report. If that means destroy it, you tell them to destroy it and show proof of destruction. Because there's no need for them to have that legal document about your site. If they didn't get the project, what is the contractor going to do with it? Now, I have seen contractors who did not get the job turn right around and file a complaint with AQMD about your project.
Well,
Very
Because
important.
they said that you stole the project from them.
oh my
You
gosh.
underbid it.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of accusations. I'm not saying we believe them, but
Like
we do hear them.
he said, she said.
Yeah, and
he
so,
did.
but if their accusation is potentially believable, my agency is going to assign that complaint to an inspector, and they're going to investigate it. They're going to call you up and say, "Hey, I just had one last week where a abatement contractor worker turned in the company.
Wow.
Yeah, turned them in.
So a
Turned
worker
them in
from that same
gave them
company-
gave us specific data, names,
Wow.
dates,
Pictures.
where to look for the asbestos when we get to their office.
Wow.
What bin it's in,
Yeah, yeah.
unbagged materials. Yeah. So if you have employees, you got landmines that can turn you in any day. So make sure they're properly trained and treat them with respect.
Yeah, for
because
sure.
they are who we see.
They're
Yes.
essential.
Yeah,
they're
not only they're essential,
Oh, there's-
they are representing your company when I show up.
And that's true.
Okay, I
Yeah.
mean, no one is telling me to wait for the project manager to show up.
Right.
No.
You
And
show up
normally
and
we
they're
don't. Now, the supervisor should notify project manager upon arrival. Matter of
Right.
fact, that would be a smart thing to do. But if the supervisor asks the inspector, can we wait till the project manager arrive before we start? Most of the inspectors I've taught, they're going to say no.
They're gonna say no.
Let's begin. You should be comfortable enough to walk around with me. You should be comfortable enough to discuss the
because
project.
if they're not, then that raises a red flag.
Then if they're not,
Oh, yeah.
you got to get them out of the field.
right.
You
Yeah.
know? And again, some people throw out, well, they didn't quite understand the questions. Well, I'm not fluent in certain languages, but I can get by if I need to speak in
Yeah.
another language. But the bottom line is the base questions that I'm asking, supervisors and workers should already know.
Right. They should.
I mean,
be,
they should know those answers.
Yeah.
If nothing else. I mean,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
if not, my agency is designed to allow you that opportunity. If
Mm-hmm.
the supervisor wants to call the project manager and put him or her on the phone right then and there, we allow that to occur.
Okay.
Just like we allow you to have the survey on your phone, as long as
yeah.
you're
Instead
on
of an
site.
actual paper.
Yeah.
A lot of things are
Especially when
digital
during
nowadays.
COVID, when we had,
Oh, yeah.
we put that in and we never took those out.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of sites I'll go to where the supervisor does not have a copy of the asbestos survey printed out, but he has it on his phone.
And that's good.
And that's acceptable
That's valid.
as long as
Valid.
he's there and he has it on his phone.
Okay.
But if he leaves,
right.
She
then
needs
the
to
whole
leave it.
project is shut down
Yeah,
until
yeah.
he comes back.
Yeah.
Or
That's
give
survey
the
report.
phone to
That's
somebody
important.
else. Yeah. In other words, you cannot do asbestos abatement without having a competent supervisor on site at that time. If that competent person leaves, the project stops.
And the asbestos super report must remain in the job site at all times.
Yeah, you can't do anything. I mean, if that supervisor leaves the site for whatever reason, so
in that case, it's better to have it printed in that case, right?
We always print it and keep it on site.
But even then, you still have to have a competent person on site at all times.
Yeah.
Now, if that competent person leaves, the workers might as well leave right with them.
Shut down.
Right.
Because the project shut down.
Yeah.
Now, we run across about 4 of those a week where the competent person left the site. Most time to go get something to eat.
Oh, or for lunchtime or something.
Or to go to the supply store, or sometimes go back to the office and get some additional supplies.
Yeah.
We don't care the reason why.
It just has to stop until he comes
all
back.
Work stops. Now, we've showed up and work is still going. We say, where's the competent person? Some foreman guy walks over and says, well, he's not here.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, can we see your credentials? Well, if you're not a competent person and your name is not on the notification.
Correct. That too.
You're dead in the water.
It's important.
So remember, your competent person's name must be on the notification.
Yeah.
It must.
Yeah.
If not, your notification is fraudulent.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's about $10,000.
$10,000 violation.
Bring up
keep
the bill.
money coming. Keep the money coming.
Keep the money coming. Yeah.
Keep the money. It's like ching.
This is serious.
This is
serious thing, man.
We said we're not IRS, but ching.
I feel
no survey.
I mean, you guys can do the ching even better than me. You're like, oh my God, ching. Like we got 2
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
Hit the jackpot right there.
They're going to take legal actions against you. My agency. Remember, Rule 1403 is one of the most litigious rules we have.
Yeah.
And we have over 300 rules.
Oh, wow, that's a lot of rules.
Well, yeah.
Besides asbestos, they have a lot.
For other, okay.
Yeah.
Now, for asbestos rules, we have Maine 1403, 40 CFR, if it's a commercial site, or 4 units or larger. Then we have associated rules. We have 403, fugitive dust. Now, you abatement company, we definitely don't want to see any dust.
Right.
But if you're a demo contractor, we don't want to see dust crossing the property line.
Yeah.
You can have it on your site,
but not going to the rest of the...
But it better not cross any of the property lines, or you spill in the front of the entrance.
Yeah.
That's what we call 403. Now, that's fugitive dust. Then we also have 203 regarding your negative air machines and HEPA-vacs.
Equipment.
Okay, equipment. All that has to be permitted. Super suckers, bead blasters. All
I have a
permitted.
question. Did you write some of the rules in?
I wrote the entire rule.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm one of the lead
He's a rule maker.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I'm authored of Rule 1403, 1466, which is dealing with contaminated soil on the site, soil contamination, mainly lead, arsenic, beryllium, those types of things.
Chromium.
So you're a legend.
You are, yes. You know what? He is a legend. Come on.
I am probably the
I know Mr. Michal Haynes
with the most knowledge
over 30 years.
Rules. I've authored, I would say I've authored about 15 rules that my agency enforces.
So this is something that, I mean, you've enjoyed your career, your entire career.
Yeah, I mean, I came over from, aerospace.
Okay.
As environmental consultant. And subsequent, I was with aerospace for like 3 years, and I ran into, I was walking around SCAQMD at a site, an inspector, and I was talking with him, and he said, we were talking, he said, well, my agency is hiring. And I said, oh, okay, well, I like aerospace, it's exciting. But he said, think about it. So I thought about it that next week, and then I went down and filled out the application. And subsequently, within 2 weeks, they called me and said, yeah, we're interested in interviewing you.
Wow.
So I was offered a compliance engineering position in the industrial unit. And then I spent 7 years in that unit, mainly auditing the Port of LA and the Port of Long Beach and Long Beach areas down there. Then I got promoted into the toxic waste management unit. and I've been there ever since. And from that point on, which was like 89, I started co-authoring rules for the agency. And because remember, we have a whole department called rules, and that's all they do is make
rules,
promulgate rules. But yes, yeah.
So that's amazing, and I know that. What is I want to see what's next for Michal Haynes. What are your next steps?
Well, next is going to be retirement,
okay.
Of course, or a different side of my lifestyle is going to show. I'm going to do more instructions for different regulatory rules.
Okay.
Remember, on emergency response, and I'm specialized. My skill set is investigations, hazardous waste, emergency response, sort of stuff. So I'm going to teach people like you how to avoid drama with my agency.
Okay.
For the ones that are in the basin. For the ones that are not, then I'm going to show them how to avoid EPA requirements. Okay. And when I'm saying avoid, I'm saying comply with.
Correct.
Yeah.
Easy way, the cheap way.
Yeah.
Because I think some companies are spending way too much money in compliance. Yeah. But a lot of that is associated with how they do business. So I'm going to offer them another option of how to do business in the basin and comply with these rules without emptying the piggy bank.
Right. I love that.
And I can do it because I know your side of the business in regards of what your requirements are via my agency, and I know the agency's requirements. Matter of fact, I help write their compliance manual.
Yeah.
Wow,
what the inspectors use to follow regarding NTCs and NOVs.
So that's your next step.
Yeah, my next step is to do that. And as I said, I'm part owner in a trading company, and we're bringing in, as I told you earlier, coffees from different countries. So I will probably, when I retire, I'm going to go on at least a month sabbatical, I would say, to Panama and also Africa.
Oh,
nice.
Yeah, I've been to Panama a couple of times, but this time I'm going to probably look at some property.
Okay.
And then in Africa, I'm probably going to East Africa to sign coffee distributorships with the Ethiopian firm and also a Rwandan firm.
Well, that's fun. I think that's,
we're looking more for Mr. Michal Haynes in the future for training and assistant.
Yeah, it's a little
to improve.
I just got back from Tampa. I was down there on training, and then also I spoke at a environmental conference, and I spoke mainly dealing with HAZWAP or hazardous waste sites.
Right.
And in September, I'll be speaking at the Fire Department's Continuing Challenge Hazardous Waste Seminar, but I'm going to be speaking on the emergency response techniques that we did with the Tustin fire.
Oh, okay.
That's right.
Identified asbestos.
The hangar.
Yeah, the hangar fire where we shut down the city of Tustin.
Yeah. I know that.
I remember that one.
I remember that one.
The city was, and they're much better now, but there's going to probably, I'm sure there'll be several lawsuits.
It could happen. Yeah, in any place.
Yeah. But just remember, in any fire, asbestos gets airborne.
Yeah.
The only reason we tested there is because we were seeing physical debris dropping out of the air and landing on people's property.
Yeah, on their houses.
But in most cases, we don't see it. But I would say anybody that's downwind from a fire, whether or not it's a hangar or a regular building, I would get my house tested for asbestos.
For sure.
Yeah, wipe samples, TEM, microvac samples, TEM, and get a feel.
Because asbestos fibers travel through the air, microscopic.
You'd be surprised how many places are contaminated and they never know they were contaminated.
Yeah.
And the people that are in these buildings are now exposed. And since they don't know they were contaminated, they don't know they were inhaling asbestos fibers. So at least 70% of the people are probably not going to come down with asbestosis, where 30% may come down with some form of lung cancer.
Yeah. Asbestos is serious.
But you won't know where you came from. People are going to say, well, how did I get this? Where did it come from? And a lot of times it's because, you just didn't get the data.
Yeah.
You didn't know.
It could be that you are around a fire, a house,
so I would say
building.
and this is whether or not it's a building or a car. Buses have more asbestos on it. Trains have more asbestos
Oh,
on
that's
it than some
scary.
houses.
My son sometimes rides a bus for field trips.
Well, when I'm saying bus, I'm saying buses that catch fire.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Not a
Don't
regular
worry,
bus.
I thought you meant like a school bus.
Don't call the school and say don't put him on the bus. No
I
more.
know.
Yeah.
But right now, I have 5 schools I have to inspect because during the summer is where a lot of schools, I'm sure you know, are removing asbestos.
Right, they
and
do
lead.
renovations while the kids are not in school.
we're busy right now.
Yeah.
Summer break.
Yeah, summer break, and
We're both busy. We're both busy.
I got 5 of them in my area alone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It's an honor to have you here with
I
us.
appreciate the
Thank you very much,
opportunity and the discussion.
Mike.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, thank you. It's an honor to have you here and being a master of your craft and a rule maker in South Coast SCAQMD. I mean, you're a legend, man. And to be here, sir, it's an honor, and to be able to educate. That's the purpose of our podcast,
Yeah.
to educate the industry. And I always tell them the rules, but some people will get it, some people won't. But it's you gotta follow the rules. You gotta follow the rules.
got to. And again, we stress to everyone to definitely follow the rules. They have questions, they can always contact us. But to all the contractors, in my departing words would be, no survey, no work.
There we go.
No survey, no work. We'll leave it at that.
No survey, no work.
And no one can force you to do the work if they do not have an asbestos survey, even if you've signed the contract.
Yeah.
All right.
100%.
Thank
All
you.
right.
Thank
Well,
you.
there you have it. AQMD Insider with Michal Haynes. We hope you enjoyed today's podcast. Please follow us on all social media, LinkedIn and YouTube. And we'll see you next time. Thank you.